Onside kicking it as always.
What up, what up, what up?
It's your boy, I am Ghost_AF.
It's your boy Sick as Fool.
First of all, man, thank you for tuning in. We'll let a few more peeps start rolling in before we get fully started. But again, at Onside kicking it on all platforms. If you got TikTok, if you got Instagram, if you got Twitter, that's the place to go. We'll be here giving you the Week 14 preview, which we're amped about. Let me tell you, there's some great games on the lineup.
Yep.
Absolutely. What's today? Thursday night
Thursday
football. You ready to preview Thursday night, actually?
Yeah, Thursday night. We got, in theory, a good game on paper if we had Matthew Stafford, if we had Cooper Kupp, if we had Darren Waller, if we had, all these good players, Aaron Donald. But we got, unfortunately, you know who's playing quarterback for the Rams?
Apparently, Baker. Apparently, it's Baker.
Baker Mayfield resurfacing as an LA legend now, huh? Coming in and just saving the Rams season, taking over Matthew Stafford's job, multi-Super Bowls coming in for Baker or what?
No.
Yeah, me either.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. What's the spread tonight? 6.5?
6.5, which is kind of low, I think, for okay, look at that. You look good, bro.
Come in frame.
Come a little frame. Yeah, there you go.
A little bit.
All right, yeah. So that's kind of a trap game, to be honest. I gotta move my mic a little bit, but go ahead.
I mean, I definitely feel you from the trap game side of things, but look, man, this is my opinion. Raiders are on a buzz like no other. We've been talking about it for the past 3 or 4 weeks the tears started after their last loss. Overtime win by Devontae. Next week followed up by Jacobs' overtime win, both walk-off touchdowns. And then again, as I told you guys, against the Chargers at home, they'd sneak that win. Now all of a sudden they got a lot of momentum, a lot of shit to play for. When everyone counted them out, they're now back in the playoff hunt. So up against the Rams with a decimated team, depleted team, however you want to call it and chalk it up, I don't see them losing this game. I do have this game in a few teasers. So I got the Raiders plus a 0.5 point in a couple teasers. I also have the Raiders money line in a parlay. And then I am rocking with a first half bet. I'm doing the Raiders minus 3.5 against the Rams in the first half because they get off to really hot starts. And I just see this being the same thing. I mean, a lot of their losses this year, they had 2 touchdown leads, 10-point plus leads, 2-score leads all throughout the first half. And they just kind of fell apart at the end. So I don't think we're getting the typical Raiders right now. I think we're getting a new and improved Raiders that got some fight and some grit in them. So I see them getting out to an early start.
Yeah, I kind of was always against the Raiders this year, but they really impressed me beating the Chargers when I was all over the Chargers last week. That was a huge moral victory inside the locker room, on the field, everything. On paper, the Raiders should destroy the Rams. I'm going with the money line on this one just because it's a short week.
I'm so sorry, AJ. Hey, shout out to our new sponsors. If you guys want to find some love on the new dating site, just go ahead and check them out. Freevert, kind of like flirts, but their accents are a little different in this case. So if you guys need chats, shout out to our sponsors.
If we're not enough for you, and you want something else, you can also check out my OnlyFans at Sick as Fool on OnlyFans. That's where we're at right now.
Hey, man, my fault, man. I just, you see spammers and you can't help but to laugh, man. So go ahead, my fault.
Yeah,
very impressive win.
Impressive win. I'm going with the Raiders on the road. Momentum, like you said, that's the biggest thing. They just look good. I'm going with the Raiders money line on some parlays. We could get into some of the locks later. I have 2 teams that I think could win the game outright who are getting points. So whether you want to be real frisky and go with the 3-teamer, you want to go 1-1 money line the Raiders, and then put in one of these other bets, whoever you like. We'll get into those games as we preview them. And then over-under, 42, it's kind of a difficult line. What are you leaning towards on the over-under?
The only thing I like in this game is the first half minus 3.5 that I'm willing to put up some do-re-mu on. Only reason why is it kind of reminds me of the game last week where the Seahawks were playing the Rams in a very similar scenario where you got pick'ems all over the place and teasers if you were to pick the Seahawks. I thought they were going to let me down on some of my teasers. I realized I had them in a lot of teasers, a lot more than I probably should have, because the Rams did make it a close game. But as to your point last show, you talked about how the Rams and the Seahawks just always play each other tight in that division. So I'm hoping that's kind of the scenario at stake, and the Raiders just come in and handle business, because I truthfully believe that there's no way the Raiders don't win and cover that, that spread. And because the Raiders defense is not top 10, top 15 even at this point, I do see the score being fairly high, especially if Cam Akers does what he did last week. He put up 2 touchdowns. So I'm rolling out Cam Akers from a fantasy standpoint. Unfortunately, I got to deal with a bye week, the last bye week, where I'm missing. Is it James Conner? No,
Conner's out, yeah. No, Conner's playing this week.
I just got James Conner back. Who's my other running back right now?
I don't know. Let me check.
The fuck? Who's my other running back? He's a stud.
Aaron Jones.
So Aaron Jones is on bye week. So I'm rolling out Cam Akers.
I know your team better than you do.
Yeah, that's sad. That's
a couple things, couple lineup locks from the Raiders. You're obviously starting Devontae Adams. You're obviously starting Josh Jacobs. As far as the Rams go, it's I wouldn't say it's a toss-up, but on my rankings, I have Cam Akers ahead of Kervin Williams. They've been flip-flopping back and forth, but this week I'm obviously ranking Akers ahead. So
yeah, based upon his last week's performance, you have to rank him ahead at this point. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So that's what I'd go. As far as the over/under goes, it's a little tricky. 42 is a little low. I don't really see the Rams scoring too many points unless Baker's out there flinging the ball. I think Aaron Donald's out.
Yeah.
But the one thing I'm going to say is that Jalen Ramsey still out there. Doesn't want to get done up, doesn't want to get balled on by Devontae Adams, so they might put up a little press on there, and I'm leaning towards the under 42, even though the Raiders could score a lot of points.
This is what I'm looking for, right? On Thursday night football games, I love. Monday night football games, I love, because I get to really pay attention that first half. So my 3.5, I'm giving as the Raiders in the first half. What I'm hoping to see is the Raiders get out to a big enough lead at half, and then I'm actually going to look for an under,
on the second half.
Setup for an under. If it's 2-score lead by the Raiders, I'll definitely look towards the under in the second half. Hope it's 21.5 or 20.5 plus, and that'll make sense to me. But as of right now, I can't touch over under. I don't even like the 7 points for the whole game, 6.5 points for the whole game. I just like 3.5 first half.
And touching up on what you said with the second half under, if the Raiders do jump out to a big point lead, I actually like that, because given the short week, they want to get out of there. The injuries, the possibility of injuries, everything like that. You're like, let's just lock up this dub.
Especially on Thursday.
Yeah, and then let's have turf. Yeah, and then have a mini bye, and then we can rest up. So exactly, the second half could be more clock control, and then against the depleted Rams. If this was a top tier team that was competing, that's it. Going to the next team in the AFC, we got. I'm gonna call this a trap game, for sure. The Chiefs going to the Broncos. -9.5 Chiefs, over under. Sorry, go back really quick. So if you pick, give me your pick for the first one.
So I got Raiders -3.5 in the first half against the Rams.
Okay, and I'm taking Raiders -300 for the game against the Rams, parlayed with a couple things that I'm going to talk about in a little bit.
Money line. Not
too much value, but hey, man, we're throwing those 5-6 teamers out there.
I apologize. While we're on that subject, I'm in the same boat. So I do have, again, one parlay where it's a money line, Raiders. So I have Raiders -3.5 in the first half against the Rams. I also have the 2 teasers with the Raiders plus +0.5 point against the Rams, and then I also have one parlay where it's just a sheer money line Raiders tonight.
Yeah, and if the Raiders happen to go down, second half fire. No questions asked. So next game, Chiefs Broncos.
Staying in the AFC West, I see.
Yeah, this is a trap game. One thing about the Chiefs, because I love the Chiefs. I'm watching them every week. They don't cover spreads. They don't. They're really bad at it. They win games, but they just don't cover spreads. So 9.5, divisional game. It's a trap game. No one likes the Broncos. No one likes Mr. Unlimited. No one likes high knees. Everyone's on Mahomes, obviously. They just lost last week against the Bengals in a tough game. So I see him bouncing back, but I don't know. I think if I had to pick in this one, I'm going to go Chiefs versus Broncos under 44. What do you like?
I'll be very honest with you. It's hard to consider this a trap game only because they came off of that loss against new rivals in the Bengals. 3 games in a row they've lost. So it's hard for me to consider it a trap game as far as them going down. What I see from the Chiefs is I see them, first things first, Broncos cannot keep up. I don't like the 9.5 points. That's the trap that I see. I see that it can be a 7-point game to end the game type of a feel. However, I do believe the Chiefs are going to slaughter the Broncos. I believe that Mr. Unlimited himself puts up another 15 to 17 points max. And I see the Chiefs handling the Broncos. So I have this in a teaser where I have the under 50 points combined because, again, the Broncos just simply can't put up points. And 50 points is a lot of points. Even if the Chiefs put up 30 points, there's no way the Broncos are putting up 20. So I have that as a teaser for the under. I also have this Chiefs -3 against the Broncos because I teased the spread down as well.
Okay. So, yeah, a couple lineup blocks on the Chiefs side. Obviously, Mahomes, Kelsey, Pacheco. I think he's the lineup block now with the volume he's been getting, even with McKinnon getting those third down plays. On the Broncos side, I think the only real lineup block is Latavius Murray if you're in a crunch with an RB2/flex. I'm not really trusting Sutton. Possibly Dulcich if you needed a stream of tight end or you're weak in that position. Obviously, Dulcich is a very capable streamer. No, but you know what? The KC's actually – he played really well, but also KC does not defend well against the tight end. So this is the game for him to thrive. So it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Again, I'm going under 44. I just don't see the Broncos scoring many points. The Broncos do have a good defense. This is a divisional game, and if it's going to be close, it's going to be on that low-scoring thing. And the Chiefs, unfortunately, one of their downsides is they play to the level of their opponents. So if you see in all these games where they play the bad teams, they kind of don't throttle them the way you think they would. So that makes me lean towards the under.
Shout out to Chevy P real quick, man. Appreciate you always stopping by, my guy.
Yeah, Chevy P. What's up? Miss you, my guy. We need to kick it. And then last in the AFC, this is, I think, going to be the game of the week. I like that it's a Sunday night game. We're going to be looking forward to it. It flexed up there. We got the Chargers at home versus the Dolphins. Man, I know who I like. I'll let you go first.
So this game, I'm haunted from last week. I had the Dolphins. If you go to my YouTube channel, which you're on now, but if you go to the shorts, you'll see a teaser. We broke 1,000 subs, man. I threw out a teaser there, and that's literally the only one out of the 6 that didn't hit, which was Dolphins +10. I mean, they had the ball up 9 and a sack fumble, whatever. They were not even a sack fumble, just a crazy fumble by Tua for a touchdown, botched that whole play. So I'm a little haunted from the Dolphins right now. They both are coming off of a loss, so it's a little tricky. I think this is a game that the Dolphins bounce back. Okay. Dolphins +3.5 against the Chargers is my play.
Okay, and I'm going to go against the grain, and I'm actually going to take the Chargers +3.5. Couple reasons. Number one, they're at home. Number two, 3.5 is too many. This game could easily be decided by a field goal if the Chargers don't win outright. And then also, Chargers are getting healthier and healthier every week. Keenan Allen's looking better. Mike Williams could be back soon. Joey Bosa could be back eventually. But even like the game, for example, when they played the Chiefs at home +7, they ended up losing that game, but they were ahead. And the thing I said is that Herbert is a gamer and he's competitive. Tua, he's a gamer, he's competitive. I was all over the Dolphins last week against the Niners, same thing. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but obviously with the Niners losing their quarterback and then the Dolphins still losing that game, kind of drops them a little bit. I thought that was a for sure lock after Garoppolo goes down.
Me too.
So if I had to pick, I don't know, I have to pick. I am picking. I actually got a couple parlays, all my bets, everything is lying down to Chargers. I actually have a 2-teamer. If you guys remember, I took the Bucks money line, which covered, obviously. 3.5 didn't, but the money line did, parlayed with the Chargers. I got him at +3 because I took him earlier in the week, and I just think 3 is too many points. It moved down to 3.5, which is a little sketchy. Also, I think just by the line movement, I think Vegas knows something that we don't know, because when they were the underdog against the Raiders and then they get throttled, they kind of know something. I thought I thought the Chargers should have been favored in that game, and the bookmakers know a lot. So, yeah, I'm going Chargers, especially 3.5. Too many at home Sunday night game, going to be competitive. I like that.
It's really hard to tell, right? It's like, am I going to get the Dolphins against the Niners, where they just couldn't put up points at all to save their lives? Waddle kept getting injured, kept coming in and out. I think that's a huge deal for their offense. So I think if on a short week, it's interesting to see how effective he can play. Or am I going to get the Dolphins that can put up 4 touchdowns against the Ravens in the fourth quarter to come back, or hold a team like the Bills to less than 20 points? It's very difficult to tell, but I think that everyone has a flaw in their armor, per se. And I think this is the game that the Dolphins right their ship. I really do. So I got Dolphins. I said plus 3.5. For some reason, I thought they were getting points, but I'll still take the Dolphins, but I'll money line. Dolphins money line against the Chargers. That's my pick.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'm going to say, too, from a parlay perspective, if you're going to be parlaying things, I like taking the Dolphins money line, right, with the last leg of your parlay. And if it comes down to it, turning around and just firing Chiefs plus the 3.5, so you have that window. So it's either going to be Chargers plus 3.5. Because like for me, for example, like that one time I had the 7 or 8 legger, I had the the Chargers versus the Chiefs, but I had the plus point, so I wasn't able to hedge like that.
Right.
But if I would have taken the Chiefs money line in all my parlays with the intention of now I'm going to load with the Chargers plus 7, I would have fell in that window. And this is a good window. I like 3.5 in a competitive game like this. So
absolutely. So that's what messed me up, bro. I had 3 active plays that I hit every leg of my parlay last week, except that Dolphin game. And the way I set it up was to come down to Monday night's game. It was the Bucks, and I had the Bucks money line. I had the Bucks plus 2.5. I had the Bucks every which way. So for me, it was like the perfect hedge to where I can just literally throw 25-30% of my potential earnings on the opposite side and take the 3 points with the Saints. And of course, that got botched thanks to the Dolphins. But while we're in the AFC East now, since we kind of rolled into the Dolphins, man, this next game is pretty enticing, man. We got the Jets and the Bills, man. This is to me is an underrated game because you see the Jets stepping up as of late, making that quarterback change, getting the W. And then last week, they had 2 opportunities to beat the Vikings with the ball down 5, including a touchdown that was called off because the receiver ended up bobbling the ball, and then getting another round after the defense held tight. So I'm curious to see this game. I think this is a lot of points the Bills are giving up. Minus 10 points is a lot.
Yeah. They already lost to the Jets. I don't see them losing twice. Yeah, this is a tough game to call, especially because divisional games. Jets have a good defense. I'm just not sold on Mike White and their offense yet. The one thing I'm going to be looking out in this game is, from a fantasy perspective, is Cook. What's going to happen? Is Singletary going to be the guy? Is Cook going to now get more touches?
What's good, Maynard? How you feeling, bro? Nice to see you on here again, man.
So that's it. And then also from the Jets side, injury update, Michael Carter's been back in practice. So that's going to take away some value from Zonovan Knight. And then makes it sketchy. Don't feel comfortable starting White. Don't feel comfortable starting Carter. Do feel comfortable starting Garrett Wilson. And a potential flex streamer and someone I'm going to watch is Corey Davis. And if he's involved since he's been back from his injury, I think obviously with Zach Wilson, no way. But I think with Mike White, who's throwing the ball 50 times a game, Corey Davis becomes a potential WR3/flex. And then on the Buffalo side, obviously, I don't really feel comfortable starting Singletary or Cook. If I had to pick, I would probably start Singletary just for the potential goal line work. And then, obviously, Diggs. And then I would rank McKenzie over Gabe Davis. But those 2 guys are kind of more in the double WR3 range. If I had to pick this game, see, the question is, do I think Mike White squills on the Bills' defense? Von Miller out for the year, by the way. So that defense takes a little bit of a hit.
Wow.
But I'm going to go with the under of 43. Jets versus Bills under 43. So far, I'm the undertaker. I'm taking the under of all these games. What do you like?
So this is actually a week I have a lot of unders as well. But for this particular game, I got in a little early. I have an 8-legger parlay. I got the Jets plus 9. But I'm going to look after this. I'm probably going to do some type of teaser because if you're going to give me 16 points plus in a divisional game, I got to take it every single time. Ultimately, I can see the Bills covering, but I just don't see the Bills. I don't think the Bills cover. So I think Jets plus 10. I'll take the Jets plus 10 on the road against the Bills all day. Plus, I will tease them, get those 16 points against the Bills as well.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the next game. This is actually going to be the Monday night game. It's going to be the Patriots traveling to the Cardinals. The Patriots on the road, small favorite, -1.5, over 43.5. Who do you like?
This one is a very rough one because the Cardinals just haven't really taken that next step to the next level for me. But the Patriots, it's so hard when you look at past seasons and go, it's Bill Belichick, it's the Patriots. But I've seen him on primetime lose a couple times now, from Thanksgiving to Sunday nights, Monday nights. And so it kind of sketches me out. 43.5 points is a fairly low over-under. So I teased this one up. I had a 49.5 or 50 at the time. The Patriots and the Cardinals will combined score will be less than 50 points. That's the play that I have in now. But I think the Cardinals get the win at home. So Cardinals plus 1.5 against the Patriots, plus a teaser for the under of 50 points.
So I'm going to talk about the Cardinals for a second and a little bit about the Patriots too. But if you remember in the beginning of the year, I was riding the Cardinals hard every game. And they were covering for me every game, and they were doing second half covering for me every single game. And then they went on a lull where they were playing sorry teams with very small point advantages, and I would take them and I would just get blown out, throttled. And then eventually it was like, all right, I'm done betting on the Cardinals. I got all the juice out as I can from them. They looked good last week. I was all over the Chargers last week. I ended up covering because they won the game, but I was all over the Chargers. But how Arizona came out hot, Kyle Murray looked good running the ball. He was using his legs. They kind of impressed me a little bit. So I could see them coming to form. But now this is the biggest catalyst for me. You got Bill Belichick versus Cliff Kingsbury. And I just think Belichick's superior coaching will be able to game plan for Cliff Kingsbury because I don't want to say he's a gizmo gadget type of player or type of coach, but he is. He's an offensive coordinator. He needs to be creative. He likes to do some plays and
So I understand the philosophy of coaching. Bill Belichick is hands down a phenomenal coach. But players like LaShawn McCoy flat out will tell you, take Brady out of the equation and tell me where he's at, and seeing that he doesn't have what to me looks like almost like he's kind of confused even. He's like, I'm playing both quarterbacks at the same time if I want. And Mac Jones this. And it's just like his strategy of working hard. You see Mac Jones on the sideline saying, pass the fucking ball. Our run game sucks. And you see a quarterback for Bill Belichick screaming that last week.
Yeah, I saw.
I now have to look and say, from a coaching perspective, can you coach stopping Kyle Murray's runs? No. A coach can tell you where you're supposed to be, but the athleticism, the sheer athleticism alone is what makes me feel like Kyle Murray is just going to fuck around and boom bop around the field if he has to create some plays. But here's the kicker. D-Hop is officially D-Hop.
Yep. Quarterback agnostic.
You have Marquise Brown now, third game back, so he's officially recouped from injury. You got James Conner, who had 18 touchdowns last year, only had 2 touchdowns going into week 11. You got him back, full strength. And I think that position player for position player, the Cardinals have a better roster. And as hard as you want to coach and go hard on coaching, which I feel you, I think that the athleticism and the gizmo engagement type of deliveries mechanisms that the Cardinals have is why they win this game. But most importantly, because they're in a dome comfortably. If this was in Foxborough, 100% I'm taking the Pats. But the Patriots are not the Patriots of old. The Cardinals will beat the Patriots. Matter of fact, Cardinals money line against the Patriots. I'm sold.
All right, well, we'll see. We'll be back on this game Monday night. We'll be here talking about.
Oh, yeah, it's a Monday night game. Let's go.
Monday night game. So
re-preview it.
All right, and then now we're gonna move over to the NFC West. We got the Bucks versus the Niners. This is probably my favorite game of the week. I mean, it's kind of an ugly game on paper, especially because this is two teams that kind of were interesting for my bets last week. Obviously, I had the Bucks versus the Saints covered for me. I went money line. Didn't even take the 3.5 for sure. I thought that was you would think that's the play against Andy Dalton, but I still went money line and then covered second half. But the 49ers really impressed me beating the Dolphins. I was really big on the Dolphins plus the points. But Garoppolo's done. I mean, by the way, there was an update. They said he doesn't need surgery, so he might be back for a deep playoff run if they make it.
Interesting.
So the Niners are one of the best all-around teams, offense, defense, special teams. Shanahan, great coach. Yeah, coaching's there. I just don't see a rookie quarterback, Brock Purdy, coming in there, beating the GOAT. I know the Bucs don't look good. They're not in shape. They're not in form, but they are winning games. They are competitive. You still have the GOAT Tom. You're going against a rookie quarterback. I'm taking the Bucs plus 3.5. And Tom grew up in San Francisco, so this is kind of like a home game. You know, I like when players go to their hometown. I feel like they play a little bit better in front of their family and friends. So, again, 3.5, too much. I see this being a 3-point game. I do not see the Niners throttling the Bucs with Brock Purdy. If this was Garoppolo out there, okay, but it's not. It's Mr. Irrelevant versus the GOAT. And 3.5 is too much. I could see it being a 3-point game, so I'm taking the Bucs plus 3.5 against the Niners.
This is one of those games where the spread to me makes 0 sense. Number one, this if you guys recall, Chargers versus Raiders. Chargers were only favored by 1 point. Couldn't fucking believe my eyes. And I went against the grain and was like, I don't like it. The Niners were favored by 4 points against the Dolphins, and it's such a similar setup. 3.5 versus 4 points. It's the Niners. And to me, it's like this is a no-brainer. You got to take the Bucs. No-brainer. They might fuck around and win the game. Same thing I was saying against the Dolphins. So here's what I'm here to say. This line makes me extremely uncomfortable. It makes me extremely uncomfortable. From the bird's eye, right? The perspective is simple, right? We look at the Bucs and we're like, well, they just had Tom Brady come back and take out the Saints. But realistically speaking, they went 42 minutes without a touchdown. 3 points in 42 minutes, the GOAT. And then they score a touchdown with 3 minutes left. Their defense holds, which, mind you, 2 opportunities to get a first down, didn't get the first down. And then you have the ball back in the GOAT's hands, and he throws a touchdown to Godwin, and it gets called back, and then he gets another touchdown to Rachaad White. Those are the things you do at home. Those are the things you do whether you're from LA or you're living in Tampa. He lives in Tampa. He's got his regimen down pat. It's a primetime game against a somewhat sorry opponent. It didn't impress me. That win was just not impressive. It was impressive to do what you did in the last 3 minutes and never lost hope. But a good defense like the Niners have, if he struggled against the Saints, and mind you, he's been struggling all year. He struggled against the Steelers without TJ Watt. We actually beat them. So I watched a full 60 minutes now twice. And these Bucs, offensively, are in shambles. They were putting Lenny in the beginning of the game. And I just didn't understand. I'm like, yo, bro, Rachaad White has been murdering the game. I get it.
The fumbles.
Lenny's a little stronger now. He's back healthy again. I get it. But the playmaker right now is Rachaad White. And ironically, as I'm saying this, he ends up scoring the touchdown to end the game. So if they implement Rachaad White a little bit more, yeah, I can see them winning this game. If Lenny just hits that extra gear, since it was his first game back from injury, I can see them winning this game. I don't like this spread so much that I did the easiest thing I could do. Purdy, no disrespect, haven't seen you play enough ball yet. Tom Brady, the GOAT, no disrespect, your offense is not in sync. The over-under in this game, if I'm not mistaken, was 44 points.
Yep.
44 points. To me, 2 things. I did the under in a straight parlay. I'm also have the under in a teaser. And then I'm 100% firing big on the first half. I think the over-under was 22 points. I'm firing big on the first half because Tom Brady has done this all year. Sluggish. You look at the game against the Rams, came back at the very end, touchdown to win it. This is what he does, right? With that being said, under is the only play in this game because I'm so sketched out about that spread. So I got Bucs, Niners, under 44. Book it. Also in a teaser, under 50.
Yeah, and
Book it.
A couple quick things to touch on before we move up. I do like the Bucs defensive front. And with Brock Purdy in the game, obviously they like to run the ball. CMC fantasy, he's been with Elijah Mitchell out getting a boost. Obviously they're going to want to run the ball. Him, Juszczyk, blocking with Kittle. The strong spot on the Bucs is their defensive line. Obviously they're not playing that well as a unit, but it kind of negates what San Francisco is going to try to do without a quarterback. So I do like the under of this game.
So let me ask you one thing though. You watched the Saints game, kind of. You said, right?
Yeah, I caught the end of the game.
Okay, bro. The score didn't tell the story. It was a perfect first half by the Saints. Unfortunately, they had to kick 2 field goals instead of get touchdowns on 2 of their drives. But they weren't punting the ball at all, dog. They were just literally, and Kamara had no stats. They were literally 3rd and short, first down. 3rd and short, first down. Like Andy Dalton played a perfect half on prime time against that defense. So I'm extremely cautious of the Saints of the Bucs defense and even crowning them again right now because it's like
But I
they
think
just haven't been what they were last year.
I'm sorry to say, but I would like without knowing Purdy, like I'm gonna have to lead Andy Dalton playing well, which was like the prime best he ever played in his life in a prime time game,
for sure, yeah.
right? But I think Purdy has to show himself.
No, I agree
and he has
with
to
that.
like because like he's like he's not a bump up from Garoppolo, so it's not like their offense is getting better. You're
but
taking a
that was
hit
my
from
next
there.
thing though, right? But ask yourself this about Garoppolo, and you ask every Niner fan. I'm talking about straight Niner fans. Coach will tell you, Pam Bam will tell you, the Niners, none of their fan base believes Garoppolo's the guy that's going to get them their chip. None of them, bro.
Well, I think they just
So
believe in
he's
their
a
team.
really good game manager that has potential that just never really, he's a winner. He's a winner. He's
So you're
got a
saying,
great
but
winning
Purdy's
percentage.
better than Bro?
No, it's not that I'm saying it's
So
better.
it's-
What
so
I'm
it's-
saying
it's
is
a-
this.
it's a downgrade.
Because it's an unknown, I can't downgrade it or upgrade it.
Yeah,
All
I'm
I can say is-
downgrading. That's
all
what
I
I'm
can
gonna
say is Purdy played pretty good.
I could be
against those Dolphins.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I know,
You
I
know?
admit that, but I'm gonna say I give him a down tick as opposed to a
Well, either
neutral
way, we
uptick.
agree. Under.
Yeah, unders. Yeah,
I mean, we're
but I'm
agreeing
saying no.
and
But
agreeing.
I'm going Bucks plus 3.5. That's where I'm going. Bucks 3.5. Niners, if they win, they're only going to win by a field goal. They're not going to throttle them. They might.
Under for me.
And let's see the split between White and Fournette.
Yeah,
Obviously
I wanna see
White
Rashad
has.
get a little bit more ball, dude.
Yeah, but they're going to utilize both backs. There's no reason to go give White 25 touches and Lenny 7. You're better off giving him 15 and 15.
I just think that they should have maybe cross drove, like where one drive you got Lenny in, another drive you got Rashad in. It seemed like they were just rolling Lenny. Even on 3rd and 3, it's like Lenny.
Well,
was still out
it's just
there,
trust. I mean, Rashad White still, and he fumbled the ball too, so it's ball security issues.
Absolutely agree.
And then moving on to the next game, we got the Panthers versus the Seahawks. Seahawks are out with Kenneth Walker. I think he's out with an injury. Seahawks small favorite, 3.5 points, which I think is not enough
Sketchy.
against the Panthers because I think the easy call would be Seahawks minus 3.5 for how well Geno Smith has been playing. And by the way, I was thinking about your comeback player of the year bet with Christian McCaffrey.
Now that no Garoppolo,
No, but I know it's
Geno.
Geno.
Yeah,
I
Geno
look
right
at it, it's Geno. Like Geno's the comeback. Like, dude, he's
100%.
so good, bro. And like,
Here's the deal, though. If they don't make playoffs, he doesn't get it.
that's true.
And here's the deal.
If
the
Niners make,
get it, it's because of that moment.
if the Niners make,
You see
playoffs,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
That,
so
right?
you have a chance.
That was why it was worth the risk.
Yeah, but right, I was like, who else is
Geno,
going to be?
yeah,
Yeah, I was
Geno.
thinking like, oh, and also Saquon.
Saquon also, but Saquon's so low now on the totem pole because he just hasn't been, 4 weeks in a row. He's barely crossed over 80 yards combined, and his touchdowns dropped off.
But their team is doing good yet. Like if they make
playoffs.
playoffs too, so those
Yes.
those are the top 3 front runners
Right
of
now
that
it
game.
goes Geno, McCaffrey, then Saquon.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
So-
Geno's for sure the front runner.
yeah.
But
so-
at 6-6, as good as he's been playing, as a team, bro, they're just not getting some of these wins. I mean, like we talked about, they struggled against the Rams. So this is one of those similar setups to me where it's like against the Panthers, oh yeah, Seahawks are going to terrorize them. But damn, as much as we sit here and tell you this, I'll never forget. It started for me against primetime Thursday night, Panthers-Falcons. I was all over the Falcons.
Same.
And the Falcons just lost, and I'm like, dude, they shipped off this guy, they shipped off this guy, they shipped off their defense, their running backs. What is going on here? But it's like these people are playing for pride, for new teams perhaps, for higher payrolls next year. They're fighting for their lives, and they're counted out, nothing to lose every game. So this game is definitely a suspect game. It really reminds me of the Rams and Seahawks. So this is a game I have to go with Seahawks money line against the Panthers. If they win the game very late at the end, cool. Field goal, I'll be happy with it. You know what I mean?
I like money line. I'm gonna have to go with my trend of the week. I'm gonna go with the under of 44 in the Panthers Seahawks. The reason is without Kenneth Walker, it's gonna be a little bit tougher to run the ball, and I don't want to say they're gonna be one dimensional, but he's gonna have to work Lockett and Metcalf a little bit more. And then from the Panthers side with Deontay Foreman and their offense, they're gonna just look to run the ball, keep it close, keep it. Like I said, don't let if Seattle can't run the ball and then they can't just pass the ball down their throat, it'll be a competitive game. It'll be who has the ball more often at the end of the game. So I'm leaning towards the under of 44 in that game.
I like that.
All right, so we're gonna move on to
NFC East.
The NFC East. We have the front runner right now for the Super Bowl champions, Eagles, traveling to the Giants, divisional game. Eagles are favored by 6.5 points, and the over/under is 44.5. Who you like?
It's a lot of points for a divisional road game to give.
Yep.
I definitely don't like the 6.5. The over/under is even kind of right in the middle at 44.5, which is kind of rough as well because you figure both teams have fairly good defense. You know, in this particular game, I have to tease this. I have to just basically be in a situation where it's a pick 'em for the Eagles and to think that they'll get their win on the road. So I do have the Eagles in a couple plays. I have them for money line in my 18 parlay. And I also have them teased minus a half a point in one of my teasers. Minus a half of a point. As far as the standard traditional lines, I don't like giving up 6.5 points. I could very well see the Eagles annihilate the Giants and just really take that step in the direction. But I can also see the Giants fighting for their playoff life. And look, there's no stopping the Eagles right now. So the Eagles will dominate this game. I just have to be sure and take that money line and that minus half a point, basically money line, to ensure that it's a safer play.
Yeah, I think it's an expensive price against. So like the way I relate, minus 300 right now is where you got the Eagles. I feel more comfortable.
I wouldn't do a solo though.
With the parlay that makes sense. But I'd rather take someone like the Raiders minus 300 against a quarterbackless, non-divisional game against the Rams, because the Eagles lost the Commanders.
Bet 100%.
No, but even on the parlays, I like them. I'm going to take the Eagles to win, but my only transitive property, Eagles lost to the Commanders. Commanders just tied with the Giants. This is a divisional game. You don't know what's going to happen in these divisional games. So anything can happen, obviously, right?
That Washington game is haunting you for some reason. I don't know.
No, it's the division. It's just the division. This is
why I have to do pick 'em only.
Yeah,
I can't give points comfortably in it.
I'm gonna go with the over 44.5, only because I think the Eagles are gonna score. And the Giants are going to score a little bit to keep it competitive. The only way it's going to go under is if the Eagles just throttle the Giants and the Giants aren't able to score their 21 points.
The only thing I'm worried about in the over in this scenario is the Eagles get to the point where they get to the red zone no problem, and then they're forced to kick a field goal. And then the same with the Giants. Giants get to the red zone and then they're forced to kick a field goal. So that was where I was kind of headed. I was like 22-17. I can see that. I can see a 24 to 20. 21. It was like
I see the Eagles scoring more points than that though. That's the thing.
And they have all year.
And they play
guaranteed 30 all year.
That's what. Eagles, and they played good last week. So
this was the only time this year that I have the Eagles in a money line and a plus half only. Normally I have them in a lot of my parlays, but I couldn't do the over under, even flexing it up where I couldn't do it. But I can see your view on the over. I still like Eagles money line. Remember, I'm parlaying it to the money line tonight also. So my parlay has a mash of money lines and unders in this particular parlay.
And then we're going to go down to Texas with the Texas matchup. We got the Texans versus the Cowboys. Big spread. Cowboys minus 17.5, over under 44. How do you even call a game like that? I can't even think about the last time I seen a spread that big.
I literally didn't touch this game.
Me either.
I literally did not touch this game because I'm like, on one hand, I'm like, oh, let me flex it. Let me tease it and I'll get 24. But yo, bro, the Texans are that bad. And then on the other hand, I'm like, all right, I like the over because a 38 over in a game like that makes sense because I can see the Cowboys put up 30. And if you look at the Texans, they always end up getting that 2-touchdown lead, 13, 14 points at the end of the game. Whether it's a backdoor cover in some cases, whether it's the over they're covering or even
The only
cutting
problem
the
is
spread close.
they're
But
averaging 15 points a game. They scored 14 against Cleveland, 15
Cowboys
against
will put up
Miami,
30.
10 against Washington, 16 against New York, and 17 against Philly. So
like I said, 14 plus pretty much, you know? So think about this. Cowboys will put up 30, no problem. Because remember, the Texans have the worst running defense in the NFL, bro.
yeah,
We're talking about people putting up 200 plus yards rushing against them. So you got to figure Pollard and Elliott, you know, it's going to kill some clock, but they're also good for those 60-yarders, those 40-yarders, those chunk plays. CeeDee Lamb early score. So let me double check.
I mean, you know my trend: big point spreads, ride the under. I just see, like you said, they could just move the ball on the ground. Texans might not score, and then the Cowboys might just want to get out, get the win, and get out into next week, so they could take the foot off the pedal. It's kind of.
I still think you got with that theory, to be honest with you, because you had like 5 unders in a row, and you're like, all right, 6 under, I'm not taking it, and then it was the under, and I'm like,
it's because they know. Once they know, then they flip it on you. You know,
exactly.
So like,
Exactly. That's why that theory got bunked. That's why in my mind I was like, you know what? I actually kind of like the over here because I can see a 30-13 score.
Yeah,
that's 43 points. I don't like the 44, but teasing it to 38. Mind you, it's not in any of my plays. If I take anything in that game, it's the over in a teaser.
But I'll give you an example. Like the Cowboys, they throttled the Giants in the fourth quarter, right? I feel like they won't necessarily try to throttle the Texans in the fourth quarter as badly because it's not a divisional point. They're not trying to send that message. They already know this is a one-win team. They just want to win and get out. They don't care if it's ugly.
The Texans have 1 win all year. Their offense is fucking bad. You don't think the Cowboys defense scores 1 time?
They might. But that's going to be part of why they're going to just control the clock, control the ball, run the ball, give the ball to Zeke.
How many 3-and-outs happening? How many times are in good field goal position off of a turnover or off of the straight-up punts on 3-and-outs? Because that defense will swarm.
But I think they're going to take the foot off.
How many times Mayer gets field goals?
Cooper Rush.
I thought the same thing. They put up 33 in the fourth quarter off of
But that was a divisional game, though. They're going to send the message to their divisional opponent. We're going to see you again. We're going to see you in the playoffs. We're going to see you two times a year, every year.
You play ball.
Yeah.
You play ball, and if the quarterback's throwing you a pass, you're not just gonna knock it out. No, you have an opportunity to grab it. You're gonna grab it every time. I don't care who the opponent is. You're playing for contract.
But I just saying, I don't think they're gonna score 30 in the fourth. Like if they're gonna score 30, it will be like the first half, first 3 quarters.
30 in the whole game.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I'm just saying
30 in the whole game. Give the Texans 9, and I win.
No, but they turn the ball over a couple times. It might not be competitive. They just go into clock killing mode, in the whole second half.
Same thing, but even clock killing mode with Pollard, that means you're running it.
Yeah, and Zeke, even Zeke, because Pollard's more like big playability. They're just gonna give the ball to Zeke 3 yards, give the ball to Zeke 3 yards.
Late in the game, you're putting Zeke out there who's been injured instead of Pollard.
Yeah, I mean they're
no way, dude. No way. Pollard gets out there and balls out in the fourth quarter.
I'm going Texans versus Cowboys under 44. Who are you taking?
I got Cowboys, Texans in a teaser over 38.
Okay, next game we got the Jaguars Titans divisional game. Titans are favored by 4 points, over under 41. One thing I do want to mention is that Trevor Lawrence has been on the injury report this week. Something with his foot. I'm not 100% sure if he's expected to start. I think it's in the air. If he does not start, easy Titans. But I think he is going to start. Lions moving down to 3.5, so it does seem like he's going to be active. Who are you leaning towards in this game?
So off strength right now, I think the Titans get this win. I think they get it. They're at home, divisional home game. I see the Titans covering the 4 points. I see this as a game that they're not behind the chains and behind the scoreboard. And so I think Derrick Henry is in feast mode this particular game. Prop bet Derrick Henry over 100 yards, and it's a parlay prop bet over 100 yards and, touchdown, and the Titans win is the prop bet.
And 100 yards, that'd be a good parlay bet.
There isn't. I checked for that one. I wanted 100 yards, a touchdown, and the Titans win, but they didn't have that. They had a touchdown and the Titans win. So that's one prop bet I have. Derrick Henry to score a touchdown, and the Tennessee Titans beat the Jaguars outright. I also like the Titans minus 4 points against the Jags.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the over 41, especially if Lawrence is playing. If Lawrence is not playing, take that out. But the reason is because the Jags can score points. With Lawrence, Etienne, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram. They'll score some points. Titans are a good team. They're going to score some points. They're going to run the ball. They're going to get Henry involved. Hopefully Treylon Burks come back to play. I'm going over 41 in the Jaguars Titans.
So in one of my 8-team parlays, I have Titans money line as well.
Yeah, minus 205. That's a good thing. But then it's just a divisional game. Jags good. Like they could beat any team in any game.
Yeah, I mean,
right? Like they have like that. Like they have that sleeper ability though.
Football.
No, but like the Texans aren't going to beat the Cowboys. So watch the Texans beat the Cowboys. But I'm just saying like the Jags are one of those bad teams that can beat any team.
The only win the Texans have is against the fucking Jags, bro. Okay, the Titans are gonna win this game. Don't listen to anything else except for money line it. Give the 4 points. They're smashing. The Titans will smash the Jaguars.
I mean, they beat the Raiders. They beat the Ravens.
When?
You know, they beat them
when?
On November 6th, 2017.
And the Ravens are dog shit.
Yeah,
and the Raiders
but that was
shit.
with Lamar though. Like,
and the Ravens are dog shit.
No.
And the Raiders were dog shit.
Okay, and
the only win from the Texans is against the Jags.
So let's move on to the dog shit Ravens versus your Steelers at home, -2. I already know who you're going to take, so I'll let you go ahead and lead it off.
So first things first, man, shout out to Lamar Jackson, man. That organization not only didn't pay him, but that organization also didn't give him any receivers at all and took away his only receiving option of Marquise Brown, who's a WR2 on any given team, including the Cardinals currently. So shout out to Lamar Jackson for having to do that. Shout out to the running backs because, with all due respect, 80% of the time they're running the ball. No one knows if the running back's getting the ball or if Lamar's going to keep it. So they just blow up the running back.
I don't even think Lamar even knows if who's getting the ball. You know, he's still guessing.
And to our point, what happens? TJ Watt will tell you, I just blow up the running back real quick. That way, at least if he did get the ball, I'm tackling him right away. If he didn't get the ball, my defenders behind me know that the only person that has it is Lamar. And if I can get there a little bit early, I can blow it up and they can fumble it. So shout out to the running backs. In my opinion, this is why they get injured every single year. All of them, repeatedly. Because they're getting blown up even when they don't have the ball. You're a running back, you carry the ball 20 times a game, that's a lot of tackles. What do you go out of bounds on 2 or 3 of those? So 17 tackles. In this case, on this team, if you're a running back, you're getting hit 40 times. And I think that wear and tear gets them. Now, shout out to Lamar Jackson, though. Again, shout out to Lamar Jackson. But here's the situation. The Steelers are on a high right now.
Yep.
They're 3-1 after the bye week, as I predicted. I thought we would actually lose this game. But after seeing the Ravens against the Jags lose, and then after seeing the Ravens barely beat the Broncos in the midst of obviously losing Lamar Jackson, I actually see the Steelers mollywopping the Ravens this Sunday. Mollywopping. So not only do I have Steelers -2 all day, but I also have the under on this game in a teaser. If I'm not mistaken, I'll double check.
Yeah, I just like the matchup of Harbaugh versus Tomlin. Obviously, 2 great coaches. I think with Huntley playing quarterback, it's going to be tough for the Ravens to score. Even with Lamar Jackson playing quarterback, it's been tough for the Ravens to score. So I'm going to lean towards the under of 36 in the Ravens-Steelers, only because Steelers defense really good. Pickett's okay. He could do it. He could get first downs. He can manage the games, but he's not going to just blow them out. And then this being a divisional game, I still see it being close. Even with Huntley out there, it's a good quarterback matchup. Huntley versus Pickett. You know, it's not going to be easy. And another thing too, because Lamar's been hurt a little bit last year too, so Huntley's got some playing time, and the team does okay. You know, he's not Lamar, but the offense is very similar. Even when they had RG3 as the backup, they run the same offense, mobile quarterback. So it's like they're still trying to execute their game plan. So they'll have a little.
The Ravens and the Steelers games, it's like a 17-16 battle, 17-13, 24-20. You know, we have so many games decided by 3 points or less. It's crazy when you really look into it. But you got to look at a couple things as matchup. And if you look at the Steelers defense, they're starting to gel. That was one of my top waiver wire pickups was the Steelers defense. They were owned by like 18% of the league. With getting Watt back, getting Minka back from his appendix surgery, getting KZ in there, I think the Steelers defense will do a hell of a job stopping the Ravens. And I think there's a Ravens line on how many points they score. I believe it was 18. I'll double check. Either way, my lock of the week is Steelers -2 against the Ravens at home.
Okay, and then let's move on to another divisional game in the AFC North. We have the Bengals and the Browns.
Huge game.
This is a really tough game to call. The more I think about it, I just keep leaning so many different ways. I mean, my first read is I'm going to take Deshaun plus 5.5 in a divisional game, but then I wasn't really impressed with his performance last week. So I could see him just getting blown out. If it's the same Deshaun that was playing last week, there's no way they're going to cover spread. But if we get the real Deshaun, the Deshaun from Houston, I see them covering the 5.5, 46.5. I mean, I'm sorry to say, but I just think from last week, the Browns offense kind of hit down without Brissett. Like, obviously, Deshaun's a better quarterback, but I think they've had Brissett for such a long time, and he's kind of been running that offense to where they actually took a step back with Deshaun as opposed to taking that step forward, which is what I really thought originally.
It was hard for me, man. I knew with 700 days between an NFL snap that Deshaun's not going to come out there and walk in the park. I had a feeling it would be a little rusty. Last week, I completely explained how the Browns would whoop the Texans and wouldn't be close. I was willing to give the 7 points, but I specifically said multiple times, it's not going to be because of Watson. Whether it's Chubb that dominates or their defense that dominates, it's not going to be Watson. He doesn't have to help them win by 7 against the Texans, but this is a completely different setup. This is a divisional home game. This is your playoffs on the line, because if you lose to the Bengals, at this point, you know for a fact your playoff chances go from maybe 28, 30% down to 10%, if that. So it's a must win. I think it's just too soon to jump back in the NFL and be Deshaun of the Texans, a couple years back. I just think it's too soon. So the Bengals, coming off of a really high 27-24 win against their rivalry, their Chiefs, I think they carry that momentum on the road. As much as I want to see Deshaun Watson of old, and I want the Browns to win so bad, because if we knock the Steelers off, if the Steelers knock the Ravens off and the Bengals lose, we're 2 games back and we play the Ravens one more time as well. That would be massive for our division to give us a chance to even win the division outright. However, that's a fantasy, just like I knew it was a fantasy for them to lose to the Chiefs last week. So I got to take the Bengals again. This is a game that I do not feel comfortable with the 5.5 points, like at all, because again, it's a division game. I can see a late game field goal, but because I don't believe Watson's ready yet, I don't think they're going to just explode. I think that the Bengals pull away early, and then I think the Browns kind of make it competitive. Therefore, Bengals minus 5.5 against the Browns. That's my pick.
So I'm going to go with the over of 46.5. And my reasoning is kind of what you said. I see the Bengals going ahead, taking the reins off Deshaun, basically saying, do your thing, go score some points. And we're going to turn you into Justin Fields. See if we can score points, right? Like, we know we can play defense. We know we can run the ball. Obviously, we can't do it in this game. So let's see you huck the ball down the field a couple of times. You get some turnovers. You get this. You get like that. I'm going to take the over in this game only because I see some junk points coming from the Bengals. From the Browns. And the only reason why this game does not go over is if we just get another dud from Deshaun Watson, and that's where the game doesn't go over.
That was my fear. My fear was like Browns play decent defense, kind of contain the Bengals somewhat. They might put up, a few
touchdowns. It's a running game, yeah, because it's a divisional game.
Yeah, and the Browns just get in red zone and turnover or settle for field goals or get down by so many that they have to go for it instead of kick field goals. So I was a little worried about the over-under, but I like your reasoning.
Hey, shout out Sean. He likes the over. But, Sean, we talked about this earlier, man. I'm going Chargers against your Dolphins. You can't give me 3.5 points on a Sunday night football game. Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa. It's going to be a good game, man. I heard you're going out there. I'm jealous. I might cop a last-minute ticket if you want. We could get some, StubHub, something. But so
man, oh man, that's a rough one, Sean. He needs to get this victory because this man is liable to choke you out during a commercial break. Oh man, so we're done with the AFC South, right? AFC North. We're dropping down to what? The NFC North?
NFC North. Last game. 2 games are in the bye. Packers, Bears on the bye. We have a game. Trap game. The biggest trap game I've ever seen. If I've ever seen a trap game in my life. The Vikings traveling to the Lions. The Lions favored by 2.5 points or 2 points. How is that possible? Over under 51.5. This is the highest scoring over under of the game, besides the Chargers Dolphins.
Which understandably so. Detroit has no defense, and Vikings can score some points, and obviously Detroit can score. Here's what messed me up about this game. The Vikings are 10-2. You look at their 10 o'clock games, they're undefeated. Their 2 games are losses, one against the Bills, one against the Eagles, and they were murdered in both games.
Yep.
Murdered. And you look at Kirk Cousins on a 10 o'clock game, he's a baller, bro. So I don't understand how you're getting points in this scenario. It really didn't make any sense because the Lions, look, they're looking at last week and they're going, oh, the Vikings struggled to beat the Jets. They almost lost twice to them. They only won by 5 points. And then you look at the Lions and they annihilated the Jags, just like I thought they would. Just like I thought they would. But, bro, we're talking about annihilating the Jaguars, and now you think you're just going to mollywop a team like the Vikings in a dome. It's not like they're going out of their realm here. They're going in a dome in Detroit. They're used to playing on a dome, the Vikings, all day, every day anyways. So I think that these players are all accustomed to playing in this particular atmosphere. The Vikings are starting to travel pretty well. Man, this is the biggest trap game of life because to the normal person, Vikings win this game no problem at 10-2. But what do they see in order to make this spread the way it is? So here's what I did. I did the over in a teaser for 47 points. I think that this game scores a lot of points, and I like the 47 over in a teaser. Because 50 plus is really, really high. But there's another situation that I liked, and it was the Minnesota Vikings in a teaser. In a parlay, plus the 2.5. Okay, I think if the Lions win, it's not going to be a late game field goal to go up 3 because it was a tie. I think it'll be like one of those games where it's 27-20. 28-25, 28-26. You know what I mean?
They score
It's
a
like,
point field goal to go
yeah,
ahead.
I think they win. If they win, I think that's the way they win. So I have normal parlay. I'm taking the 2.5 at the time. And then I also have the over in a teaser. And that's the only thing I liked about. Oh, no, and I also have them plus 9 on a teaser. This was the same philosophy I had against the Jets. I said the Vikings are going to win the game by more than 3 points against the Jets. But I also took the Jets in a teaser plus 9 because I just didn't see them winning and blowing them out. So it's kind of a similar setup where I'm going, you're giving me 9 points in a game that I think is going to be close. I'll take whoever's getting those 9 points. And in this particular case, somehow it happens to be the Vikings.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to take the Vikings, of course, plus the 2 points. Kind of what you're saying. It's going to be a close game. I do see the Vikings potentially throttling the Lions.
More than I see
them. And the Lions play their division really close at home, beating the Bears, beating the Packers at home. These were close games. They held the Packers to 9 points. I just don't see the Vikings getting throttled because of the chance that they're trying to win. They're trying to win a Super Bowl. And if you're trying to win a Super Bowl, this is not it.
Well, especially at 10-2, they're one game away from fucking home field advantage throughout.
Yeah, and this is one of the games where they might just little brother them because it's like you're in our division and like we can't even let it slip.
Because it's also a 10 a.m. game.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And also like
little brother.
Yeah, they're literally just like nah. Like maybe if it was closer, if the Lions were fighting for a playoff spot, all that, then I could see it being closer. But the Lions are just playing for pride, and I think they're just playing for next year. So they're going to come out hyped to play, but I'm going to have to take the Vikings plus the 2 points. They're just too good. They are a little overrated, but 2 points, divisional game. Let's go.
I mean, look, bro, I can see the Lions winning. I really genuinely can because the Lions have played every opponent so tough. It's why I picked them against the Jags last week. You know what I mean? I can see it, but
that was against the Jags, 2 teams that have nothing to play for.
Right, but then you look, week 1 against the Eagles, 38-35. You look against the Bills on Thanksgiving, like, dude, they were up at one point until the very end. So they've been in every game.
They play in the competition. They played to the competition of their opponent.
Even last year, bro, they were like 2-10 at one point, but every game was like that close to winning. It was like the Clippers of football.
Yeah.
And so I just think they're not going to landslide anybody at this point unless it's a team like the Jags who lost to the Texans, right? So I agree with you. I agree with my initial theory as well. I mean, dude, I think this is going to be extremely close. Sean's got some questions. AJ is right. They might throw him a bone.
Yeah. Let's see. Sean, you going to the game, man? Where's my invite, dude? Come on.
Sean, for Christmas, or no, for his birthday present, actually, his wife got him tickets, all 4 of them, him and his 2 girls, are all going to the game. Otherwise, I'd be there, bro. But he's going with his daughters, and I get rowdy. You know what I'm saying? He ain't want me around them kids, man. I get rowdy.
You tailgating or what? That's gonna be a fun game, man. Get there
early. Be
early.
there at like 2:00.
Yeah, 2:00. Tailgate a little bit, have some fun. I think I'm actually gonna go to the next game, Chargers Titans, the following week.
Oh, that's a dope game. See King Henry in person.
Yeah, but I'm not really Titans. I'm not like Tannehill, but it'll be a competitive game because the Titans are always good. I like
think that's a great game. Is it prime time?
No, it's 125 game. They got prime time this week. They're not gonna give them back-to-back prime timers. So
unless you're Andy Dalton.
But that's it. Hey, so we're going back in tonight. We got Thursday night football kicking off in 30 minutes. Another thing too. Raider fans travel well. We're in LA. Rams fans, they're not even real with the way the season's going. They're not hyped behind their team. So it's going to be a Raiders house tonight. It's going to be rowdy. Raiders money line. If somehow they're losing at halftime, fire them second half. All I got to say.
Yeah, I mean, Thursday night football special, I definitely like the Raiders in the first half -3.5. I also am looking to take the under in the second half. If the Raiders have a decent lead, like 2-score lead or more, I'm definitely going to be looking to take the under with my profits from that first half because I think that they're going to go in the first half. So I'm actually going pretty heavy, -3.5 in the first half. Without further ado, man, that's not what you say at this part, but you get the gist. Onside Kicking It, @Onside Kicking It is all of our socials. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and of course YouTube. Please make sure if you're watching this video and you're not on here live to like it, to subscribe to our channel, but also AJ, aka Sick as Fool, did just open up his YouTube channel. I need you guys to subscribe to that as well because sometimes if we have the same pick, he might just post his on his channel and I might just post mine on my channel. But also after this football season, we got a lot of new content in the works that we're working on now that will bring you some fun shit to be entertained and get a kick out of. So what's your YouTube channel called?
@SickAsFool. Same thing every platform. @SickAsFool. It's your boy, Sick as Fool. We out here on YouTube. I'm looking at some of these prop bets over here for Josh Jacobs. I like the touchdown prop. He's going to get one in. So touchdowns, -167.
Look at the parlay, though. You can get Josh Jacobs or Devontae Adams with a touchdown and the Raiders win the game.
So like Josh Jacobs, 70 yards and to win, 85 yards to win.
Yeah. You start getting way better odds.
Plus 70 yards and a touchdown.
I like that one.
I like Josh Jacobs have 100 yards plus Las Vegas to win plus 143.
Yeah, you start getting some odds on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let me see. Cam Akers plus 45 rushing yards and Josh Jacobs plus 120 plus 425. That's a good one.
Hey man, he's got a good point. Sean said the other day, man, offline, he was telling me he had a dream about our show, and he's like, "Dude, you guys need to do live phone calls." And I'm like, "What you mean?" He's like the radio station. So we might actually implement that, bro. We'll put a telephone number in the bottom right. You guys can give us a phone call, pop it on speaker, let the mic hit, let us answer some of your questions. This could be good for fantasy advice. This could also be extremely good for some of the sports, prop bets and things like that, and also just to pick our minds and find out why we're so on fire.
This is it right here, but I don't like it actually. Josh Jacobs to have 23 carries, 23 plus carries, 110 rushing yards, a touchdown. Oh, they just took it off. And the Raiders to win. Wow, right in front of my face. They just took it off. Oh, my God.
That's too much for me because if they get too much of a lead and considering he's injured, I can see them
shutting down. Here you go. Josh Jacobs have over 100 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, and the Raiders to win plus 257.
Yeah, that's damn. Here's where I'm worried.
Well, I was
the
carries.
Too big of a lead.
Well, no, the carries, the 23 carries is a short week. They don't want him to get hurt. He's beat up. He's on the injury report every week. So, yes, sir.
Alex Herman said, "I'll call right now."
What's up? What's your question? Type them in right now. We're about to hop off, but we got a couple minutes before this game. So
yeah, Herm Dog, man, I appreciate you so much, bro. We'll try and figure out a way to take phone calls next show, man. That sounds fun as shit. I can't even flex. I think it would be better to take phone calls on Monday night because it's right after the recap, so we can answer some fantasy questions, who to sit and who to start coming up. But yeah, Thursday, man, the same thing. We could do the same thing.
No, listen, he's not hurt, but he's just on the injury report every week for Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, no, that overtime game actually, man, where he put his body through some shit. He was a little banged up, and he kind of left banged up from that game. But it's like, look, dude, in overtime, the guy had like an 80-yard rushing touchdown. So we can't even consider him injured at this point ever.
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
he's
at this point.
he's playing.
But like you said, on a short week, if
Exactly.
they're up by enough and he's got only 17, 18 carries, I could easily see them bringing in, you know, their backups that are
Zamir.
capable. Yeah, they're capable to at least get some yards and wear the clock out, you know?
Is there?
Hey, we got 30 minutes before kickoff, man. I want to make some adjustments real quick on some of these games we like. Once again, man, thank you so much for supporting our channel. We appreciate you guys so much. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, at OnsideKickingIt.com. You can all get to the same spot. Don't forget, Sick as Fool.
Yeah,
Same
smash
at
that,
Sick as
smash
Fool.
that like button, smash that YouTube, smash that subscribe button. Appreciate you all, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, Monday, 3:30 Pacific Standard. Onside